The exclusive home of the Utah Mammoth is on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Look out. It's a shorthanded breakaway. Schmaltz in the clear. Dangles and scores. Nick Schmaltz with a shorthanded beauty. And it's 1-0. Now Yamamoto with a burst of speed ahead along with Carcone. Carcone centers. Back door. Dursey right in front. They score. Utah gets it right back, and it's Sean Dursey who finds the back of the net. Mammoth steal a puck at the blue line. They skate ahead. Barrett Hayton at the empty net scores. Barrett Hayton scores the empty netter for the Mammoth with just under a minute left in the third period after Utah broke up a play at its own blue line.
You're locked into JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Thanks for being with us on the show today. Man, this Mammoth team is having a January. Unforgettable. We talked about when they got into the new year and walking up to, when Cools goes down with the lower body injury, and you're thinking to yourself, all right, this is not good. The way that this January's turned out, best that they've ever had in franchise history, like not even close. They're playing such good hockey, and they're playing team hockey. All of it is just really working out well for them right now. And what a game last night. To beat Florida on the second night of a back-to-back. Vitek gets himself in the game against his old team, and he delivers, man. And last night was just one of those nights I think that you're going to be able to look back at the season and go, that's a huge win for them. When they got that second night of a back-to-back win in Florida at their barn, when everybody was going, yeah, you know what? Yeah, maybe they don't. They've had a good January, and they beat Nashville, so, that was the one you needed to get. We told ourselves, I did that. I went that direction. But the reality is that this team is playing top-notch hockey right now. They get the full 2 points last night in Florida, and it was a heck of a game. And, JJ, they're playing on such a different level. And I think they can continue to do it. I get nervous about what the break's going to bring. Now, it might bring Logan Cooley coming back.
That's what it'll bring, exactly.
That'll be nice.
It's going to get better.
But they're just playing such good hockey right now that it's fun to be able to get into. And last night, that win over Florida, I'm going to tell you, though, that last 1 minute of that game.
Look, I know that Mammoth have only been around for a couple of years, but we have some scars. There's been some late game follies.
When they scored that third goal,
I was like, oh no.
And then when they won the face-off, they start just flying down the ice, and I'm like,
never over until it hits zero, man.
I'm already texting with one of my friends, celebrating. Hey, man, great win for this team, man. I might have ruined it.
You did it. You're the jinx.
No, when Hayton got that empty netter, I went, that's it. Half the barn left, or three-quarters of the barn left.
Well, the Panthers didn't leave.
Yeah, I'll tell you who else didn't leave. Mike Folta, radio play-by-play voice of the Utah Mammoth, joining us on the program. Thanks to the folks at Hercules First Federal Credit Union, growing stronger together. Mike, tell me that last minute didn't get you just a little bit nervous. Those last 14 seconds even were wild.
Yeah, and you know what? It's funny. I was talking to some folks who've watched the Panthers play a lot recently, and they were saying, hey, if there's like 30 seconds left in the game, they're down 2. It's not over. Now, as you guys were just saying, half the arena was leaving, but it could have been a case where they're all trying to get back in. But some dicey moments there, and I think Utah's goalie Vitek Vanacek felt it at the end, because when the final buzzer sounds, you could see him kind of look up to the heavens. He's like, thank you. The nightmare is over. We get the win. And we can get on with the road trip. But boys, what a road trip!
Oh man, Mike,
it's been awesome. So far wins in 2 out of 3, and it's been fun to watch this team win when things are tough on the road playing good teams.
I honestly thought, if they come away with this trip with 2 or 3 points, they're going to be all right. For them to already be at 4, Mike, this is insane. Like, this is far more than we expected on this trip, and the way they did it last night was just phenomenal. How are they feeling? This team is really coming into their own, and they look like that team we saw earlier in the season. And this looks like a team that's definitely a playoff team.
Yeah, they're in a wild card spot right now. And honestly, guys, they weren't supposed to win last night.
No.
Like, you're coming off a back-to-back. It's game 2 of a back-to-back. You just played a really physical game in Tampa Bay on Monday night, and then you come into Florida, and the Panthers, they're not maybe rolling along at the same clip they were last year, but they had still won 3 in a row. They had won 6 of their last 8. They were mostly healthy. And the Mammoth at one point had a 2-goal lead in the third. Now it only ended up being 1, but they took control in the third period and played a really good game against a really good team that they had never beaten before, going back to last year. Mm-hmm. We heard from Bear that there were a bunch of game time decisions heading into Tuesday's game. And typically when you hear that tells you that there's a bunch of guys that are less than 100%. And if they do play, they're playing through a little bit of something, right? And not here to speculate on who was playing through what, but you have to know that there were a few Mammoth players that were playing less than 100% against a really good team and still got it done.
I was at that barn last year for this very game. It was around this time of the year. They had that same double dip.
Yes.
They lost 8-0 last year at Tampa, and then they go into Florida, same type of situation. And we went to that game, and I was like, all right, I don't know if they're going to get much out of this thing. It was the first game back for Marchand, and so there was like this vibe in the whole building. But they took them to overtime, and I know you remember that game because it was a really good game, and you were like, okay, they're playing pretty well. I just think about just the difference of not just this road trip this time of year, but also how they played in that barn last night. Like, that is a team that is really good, and they know how to win. And that's the thing about other teams in the league is learning how to win is a big deal, and this team seems to have found it. And it's such a team effort now. It feels so much like a team deal right now. Are you seeing that more this year? Not just because they're getting more points, but it just feels like they're finding a groove as a team.
Yeah, I think so. And part of that's they had to go through it, right? They had to go through it last year, and parts of this year, losing a bunch of close games and losing a lot to these good teams that, as you said, they know how to win. They have the championship pedigree. It's a bit of a cliche, but there is a lot of truth to that, where there's an understanding of how to close out games, and you have not just a knowledge in your brain, but an intuitive knowledge, like a gut feeling in the urgency that's necessary to win these types of games. And Florida has that. Tampa has that because they've been there the last few seasons with their core. And now the Mammoth, after going through some learning lessons where you lose games to those teams, like they lost to Florida, they lost to the LA Kings in back-to-back games in December, really good squads. You just come up a little bit short. After going through it a little bit, now we've seen things turn around where they're winning these close games. And the Mammoth are still, oh my gosh, there's somebody at my, can you guys hear that? Oh, I got like housekeeping.
What do you have, like DoorDash? What's going on here?
You ever seen Tommy Boy? It's like fluff your pillow.
Oh no! Oh no!
It's either that or
don't let him in,
Matt
Mike.
McConnell,
Don't let him in.
Play-by-play guys. Should I get him on the show?
Why not?
Look, walk him in.
Why not?
Walk him in. We'll burn some time for you. So, Mike, of course.
All right. You stall for me. I'm gonna see who.
See what's going on.
Sure.
If it's anybody who works with us, I'm gonna bring him into the show.
Do you have to make them? You got to make them.
Okay.
Even if it is housekeeping, bring them in too. Have them answer some hockey questions for us. No, but listen. Last night, JJ, one of the things that I really loved was the fact that, like, Florida's game is not dirty.
They're
not
very
the right
physical.
Word.
They're very physical.
It's not and last night was that physical game. Like, it was one of those. And when they went to the break and the whole Kachuk, like with the embellishment call, like all those things, all that stuff went down, and I was like, oh man, I was shocked the way it was. And the barn was going crazy because they felt like they weren't getting calls. But that team relies on some of that chaos, and they rely on just this grit. And I think that's half of why it was such a great win last night was you do it without Dylan Gunther. Obviously, no Logan Cooley, but you go, hey, we're going to get all these guys together, and we're just going to punch right back. Why not? Because I saw Bear dropping some cusses on TV. It was nice to see him fired up at the end of the game when he felt like that Kachuk was taking a dive. it was such an interesting go there. And I guess the embellishment thing I didn't really understand because they still got the penalty for both guys, though.
Yeah, I think that's one where, you acknowledge, like, yeah, at the end of the game, Schmaltz tripped him. He has a stick in a bad spot. He trips Tkachuk, but Tkachuk sells it, right? And that's part of the stewardship of the game that the officials are supposed to be in charge of. And it's pretty shocking. You really don't see a lot of embellishment calls. It's a nasty scarlet letter to get that. And Brady Tkachuk Matthew Tkachuk is, as you said, one of the more snarly players in the NHL, and that's why we love him on Team USA. He was one of the guys that dropped the mitts to start the U.S.-Canada game during the Four Nations tournament last year. That's part of his game, but he also knows how to draw penalties and get under your skin. That time he just went a little too far, and we saw a rare occasion where you get 2 embellishment penalties in one game. You usually don't see it much at all. I mean, it's hard to sell that stuff in hockey, right? You're moving so fast, and it's just not ingrained in a lot of hockey players, DNA. You hear a lot of times from youth coaches, from high school coaches, or hockey dads. If you're laying on the ice, your leg better be broken. Like if you're laying on the ice, it better be because we have to come get you. And so that's really a part of hockey culture where, if you're down in pain or if you fall down, it's because someone made you fall down, right? But yeah, you don't often see that. By the way, it was housekeeping. It was the most persistent housekeeping that I've ever seen.
I really wanted to ask him a question. Whoever it was, I was like, "Hey, bring him in and be like, hey, I'm actually doing this interview back in Salt Lake City. What do you know about hockey?" Like that would have been a top 5 moment all time.
I thought, I should have. Should I go back and get it? I'm probably down.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm watching this team, Mike, and you've seen the growth obviously, and this January has been phenomenal, and you know all the stats and the numbers about how big of a tear they're on right now. But another observation I have is this team is really good in the third period. They're finishing games. They finished last night, right? That's a game in the past that maybe would have got away from them, but instead they finished. What is the difference in this team now with this January? How are they finishing strong? What's the key there?
Yeah, and I should have brought this up talking to Alex's point earlier about learning how to win, but this team, as you said, JJ, really good in the third period. Guys, get this. They've allowed one even strength goal. They've allowed one even strength goal in the third period throughout the month of January. That's 12 games, wow. I believe, 12 or 13 games, and they've allowed just one goal. And so I think part of it is they've been playing with leads, right? They've been playing from ahead. I think defensively, this team has found a way to use its team speed in the defensive side. When you think of a fast hockey team, a lot of times you think, okay, they're going to be good off the rush. It's going to be a laser light show. They're going to be scoring a lot of goals. That can be true with the Mammoth at times, but I think what Andre Tourigny has got this group to do is defend with their speed and use your speed to take away time and space. This team has been really structured, and you've got, I think, really all 6 defensemen that have been in the lineup playing defense first hockey. Like nobody's really taken a lot of crazy risks, and have multiple pairs that you can trust in high leverage situations, right? It's kind of like having in basketball a secondary ball handler, right? When it's late game scenarios, it's nice to have 2 guys who can handle the ball. You can run more plays. The Mammoth kind of have that defensively where they've got their top defense pair of Mikhail Sergachev and Sean Durzi. We know that those guys are kind of the 2 most dynamic. But then you have John Marino and Nate Schmidt, who are playing the best hockey. I'll say John Marino's playing the best hockey of his career, and it's a really good marriage between those 2. They complement each other really well, and they move the puck really well. That's an important part of the defensive game, being able to move the puck out of your own zone up the ice in a way where you can now get the puck in deep to the other zone. And then the third pair, Ian Cole, been in the league, 16 years now, I think, a veteran defenseman, a defense-first, stay-at-home stalwart, and Nick DeSimone, who also has that puck-moving ability. He's always described as very predictable in a good way. Like when it's on his stick, you know where it's going. immediately, which is good. You need to be predictable for your teammates. But between those three pairs, guys, they've been really good, and you have to bring up goaltending as well. Vitek Vanacek was really good against Florida last night, or getting his first win since October.
Yeah, that's huge.
He had kind of not had a lot of run support. It was like Paul Skeens and the Pirates.
He gets put in tough spots, Mike.
He has been, yeah.
It's kind of not fair, right? The way we judge him, because he's always put in tough spots.
Yeah, we've played 8 back-to-backs now, and he has started the second game of a back-to-back on all of those, which makes up like 70% of his starts, I believe, this year, around in that neighborhood. Yes, you're absolutely right, JJ. Like he is getting put in, tough spots, and that's kind of the job as a number 2 goaltender. A lot of times, like go out there, just give us a chance. And he's done that a few times. Hadn't earned the wins because the team didn't score, but now he got the run support and he played well last night. But have to bring up Veggie too. He's been the league leader in wins for the last couple of years, and he's been one of the league's best goaltenders. Forget about the wins category. He's been one of the best goaltenders ever since he got pulled back in early December.
So the road trip continues, heading to Carolina, who has had a really good year so far, and they've been kind of toggling back and forth with Tampa at the top of that Atlantic Division. And this is a really good hockey team. It's at their place. Veggie will, I'm assuming, be back between the pipes, and this team has another opportunity to do something real special here. How do they beat the Carolina Hurricanes at their place?
Well, I mean, if we follow the blueprint from last year, it's going to mean 49 saves for Karel Vejmelka and the birth of a legend, because that's what we had when the Mammoth beat the Hurricanes last year at the Delta Center. If you guys remember, that was in November, and it's kind of the birth of the Veggie legend, kind of the birth of his stardom in Salt Lake City. Put on the best goaltending performance of the year in the National Hockey League, and that was what it took. Hurricanes, he's probably going to be, assuming he does start, which we do think he's going to, he's probably going to be peppered again tomorrow night. This is a Hurricanes team that, a lot like Florida, applies constant pressure for 60 minutes. It's like playing against a full court press all throughout the game. And they have the second most shots on goal per game, the Hurricanes. So they shoot the puck a ton. They try and create broken plays as opposed to holding on to pucks and trying to, be creative, make the perfect tic-tac-toe passing play. And then defensively, they're really good as well. They allow the fewest shots in the NHL. So they don't allow a lot of scoring chances, and they create a lot of chaos in the offensive zone. So it's going to have to be a really good goaltending performance from whoever's in net. We assume it's going to be Veggie. Last time we were at this building in Raleigh, it was a 7-3 loss for this team. That was right before the Four Nations break last year. So it's a tough matchup for sure. You've already done really well on the road trip, but it's time to get greedy.
I was going to say real quick, just as a follow-up, I just saw they're going to be wearing their Whalers gear. Oh, yeah, old school. The Hartford, the whale. Come on, that's a Mallrats reference there for you. No, but listen, that was this is a huge time, and I think that people will go, yeah, but they've done great on the road. You just got to go 500 on the road. We've talked to Bear enough times throughout the last couple of years that, there's no version of these guys showing up halfway. And when these guys show up to these games and they are not 100%, which is what I feel like hockey would be every night, but especially on a back-to-back, you get these guys in there, they have nothing but they just are going to go out there and fire it off there. And so they've flipped the script on a lot of these teams they've lost to over the last couple of years, and they've been stealing a couple away from them. So that could be the case in Raleigh tomorrow night. So that's what we're looking for, is just like, what can you do to flip the script from last year's games when you were on this road trip and it was a struggle. So that I'm looking forward to, at least as they get ready to go back out on the road, or as you guys head to Carolina. Are you already in Carolina then? Is that what's going on? Do you guys go right there after the games?
Oh yeah, we're in Carolina. Me and Nick Golchek were hanging out at a Bass Pro Shop earlier today. That was kind of our off day activity. So we're in the woods here in the Carolina Hills. But yeah, you said it, Alex. Like when you're in the arena as an athlete, and I'm not speaking from experience, but just from what you hear, like you can't. There's no halfway, right? When you're out there, you're out there, and if you're only going 50%, someone's going to get hurt. Carolina Hurricanes are the only division leader that the Mammoth have not beat this year. Utah has played really well against the best teams in the league, and you were hoping for tomorrow that different against a really good Canes team that has a ton of depth. Mentioned how they can smother you. They have 9 guys with 10 or more goals. That's the most in the NHL. So they have a really even dispersion of scoring. So I really thought it was a scheduled loss last night, and the team surprised me. I wouldn't be surprised if they play really well again tomorrow. So not sure on Dylan Guenther's status. He missed last game with a lower body injury. So hopefully we get him back relatively soon. But yeah, here's the other thing, guys, too. Look at the standings. The Mammoth are in their best stretch of hockey right now. They're in the first wild card spot, but they're only a game and a half up on the teams behind them.
Yeah.
Like everyone else is winning in the Western Conference. And so there's not a lot of room for error, even though the Mammoth are playing really well and there's a lot to celebrate. You have to keep going because everybody else is staying in the mix, and all these other teams, San Jose, Los Angeles, Seattle, they're a game and a half behind you. So they're right in the mix as well.
We can't let you go without a Purdue basketball update.
Oh,
How are the Boilermakers doing?
Stop it.
On the night when Kurt Cignetti got into the assembly hall and also rubbed in their face that they won the national championship.
I have nothing. I have nothing as a Purdue basketball fan. This is why I drive to Logan to watch the Aggies. This is why.
Closet Aggie fan now.
Yeah, the Aggies, baby, Aggies all the way. That's my Utah hoops team until further notice. Unless anybody wants to make a donation and swing me in the transfer portal, but God, we have nothing as Purdue fan. Like, if you know a Purdue fan, give them a hug today because this is as bad as it gets. The Hoosiers, the IU Hoosiers are national champions in football, and they just beat us in basketball when we're supposed to be better.
Right.
And they're smearing our face in it right now.
Well, I think they got a lot of juice last night, knowing that the entire football team was there to do that little celebration at halftime. It was all planned out. They did it this game for a reason. They waited on the Boilermakers to show up. That's how they do it. It's just like the quiet trash talk where they go, "Oh, sorry, we have this. We're gonna have to extend halftime by a couple minutes. We're just doing a little ceremony here in the middle. If you guys want to wait a couple minutes in the locker room." So yeah, it was a rough one for you guys, but I'm sure it'll be back on track. So Mike Folta's got the call tomorrow night, of course, on the radio.
I'm hoping. If I'm Matt Painter, guys, real quick, I'm lining everybody up on the baseline tomorrow or today at practice. Hey, we're starting on the baseline.
Gassers.
And I've got the whistle, her Brooks style again.
Oh.
It's not good. Mike, good luck on the call tomorrow night. And we're looking forward to it, seeing what the follow-up is to this win last night. And safe travels back, man.
Thanks, guys.
There you go. Mike Folta.